guys, so in today's video I have a book haul, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started in showing you the books that I bought and telling you a little bit about them. So the first book that I bought here is called The House on Cold Hill by Peter James. I bought this because it sounded awesome. I've never read his books before, but from what I can gather, it's a haunted house story. This family, they live in Brighton and they move to the Sussex countryside, which I thought was awesome when I read that. I love reading books, that are from writers from the UK, and the places that I know and have been to. I know Brighton and Sussex a little bit, so it's nice to read about places that you know. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. And then I love haunted house stories. It's basically about a family who move into this old dilapidated Georgian mansion and about what happens there. And we will see. So I'm excited to get into that. I love ghost stories and the cover's awesome. I like all the cobwebbing and the creepy mansion in the background. So that's going to be cool. I can't wait to get started on that. I might actually do a haunted mansion kind of series of books that I've read, because I've read quite a few books that are set in haunted houses and stuff, so I think that would be quite cool. The next book I got is from Kathy Reach, called Speaking in Bones. I feel like I've read books by her before. I always get really confused by her, Karen Slaughter, and is it Karen Rose or Catherine Rose? I feel like they're all the same person. It's like, are they the same author? I feel like Karen Slaughter and Karen Rose are the same person, just written under different names, like pseudonyms. But I'm not sure about Kathy Reach. Is she in that category as well? I'm not really sure. I could be totally wrong. They could all three be different people. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. But I think I've read books by her before. Basically, I think it's a story about a woman who gets captured and tortured, and it's a detective thriller basically. It's a police thriller. A tape recording of a woman tortured by a monster. Case more complicated and horrifying than can be imagined. So yeah, it's basically a murder thriller kind of story. I love ones like these. I've read a lot of them. As you can tell, I'm even getting books and authors confused now. I've read so many. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens in this book. The next one is by an author that I have never read before. I picked it up because it sounded really good. It's another crime thriller. I'm really on a massive crime thriller kick at the moment. I've read some kind of YA books and I've read some like drama based books recently, but my main love is horror and crime novels, and I haven't read a good crime novel in quite a while. I read The Poison Artist, that was good, but I wouldn't really consider that a crime novel. I will be having a review on that very soon. Very good book. But yeah, so I want to get back into some more crime detective ones, and this one sounded really good. It's called Cut, Some Men Are Born Evil, and it's a gripping serial killer thriller. I actually don't know if this is a detective one, I'm assuming it is, but basically the gist of it is this boy or this man, many years ago he witnesses a murder. He witnesses a crime, something terrible happening, and he kind of tries to push it out of his mind and forget about it, but years later it's coming back to haunt him, and his girlfriend has been kidnapped, I believe. His girlfriend has been kidnapped and he has to try and find the killer before obviously she gets killed or something terrible happens. It says here on the back, someone knows the truth, someone knows what he did, and now his girlfriend will pay for it unless he can find her in time. So that sounds really awesome. It sounds like it's going to be very suspense filled and fast paced, which is what I'm hoping for. So yeah, that sounded interesting. I'm interested to see what he witnessed and can he get his girlfriend back. So yeah, excited for that one. The next novel I have is by an author that I have loved for many years. It's by Jeffrey Deaver, who is best known of course for The Bone Collector. I believe that was the first book I ever read of his as well. I read it many years ago. I've also seen the film since, which is okay, but of course the book's better. I read just so many of his novels. I love his Lincoln Rhymes book series, is my favourite. It's about a criminologist who is also paraplegic. They're just fantastic stories. It's very well written. I love all of them basically. I might do a review on some of them soon, in fact, when I get round to it. But this novel is not in his Lincoln Rhymes book series, which is why I thought it would be interesting to pick it up. And I've read a tiny bit of it so far, and it sounds like it's going to be really good. It's basically about a child gets kidnapped. It says here on the back, "You're waiting desperately for news of your daughter. At last the door opens, but it's not a negotiator or the FBI. It is a kidnapper, and he has a gun." So yeah, her daughter's been kidnapped, and it's kind of about trying to get her back. But what I found really interesting about this story is, this story starts from the end and is going back to the beginning. So when you first read this story, the child has already been kidnapped. The killer's kind of already there, and it's like travelling back in time to where it started, if that makes sense. I just thought that's a really awesome concept, and it sounded really, really interesting. And I wanted to give it a go. So yeah, I love his writing, so I know I'm going to like this anyway, so yeah. And last but not least, I have a very hefty book here, and this was actually a request by the comic book Aesthete. I'll leave his a link to his YouTube channel down below. He asked me in one of his videos if I would review this book, and I said yes. Looked it up in Amazon, and it sounded really fascinating. Again, I've already started. I'm only a very tiny bit of the way through. It is a huge book, but I'm very excited about it. It sounded awesome. It's by Roberto Bolaño. I'm hoping I said that right. Like I've said in many of my videos, I'm shocking at pronouncing names. So yeah, the book is 2666, and basically it's about, oh sorry, my bookmark's falling out there. This is basically, it's about, again, I believe it's a murder story. It's about these women, loads of women are being murdered basically, and it's kind of set, there goes my bookmark again, and it's set in several different stories that are kind of all linked together, that kind of, all linked, and I found that really fascinating. I was reading up a little bit about the author as well, and he sounds really interesting. I believe this is the last book he ever wrote before he died, and he was actually dying when he wrote this book, and it was kind of like a race against time to try and get this book done before he passed away. And I don't know, I find that kind of interesting. I believe originally as well it was supposed to be split into several different novels, but then when it came to it, the publishers decided to print it all as one. I think even after he died, they found another chapter, another section of the story to add in. So yeah, I just find this really interesting. It's supposed to be beautifully written. From what I've read so far, I'm enjoying it. I don't really want to say too much since I'm a bit further in. I might do like installment reviews on this, so like say when I get a quarter of the way through I'll do a review, and then half the way through I'll do a review, and then one large review at the end. But I'll see how I go. I am excited for this. I don't really want to say too much more about this book because I want to do like a whole big review all in one. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Those are the books that I brought this month, or last month rather, because I bought these in August. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any comments, or if you've read any of these books, then please let me know and leave a comment down below. And yeah, until next time guys, thank you for watching. Bye.